Oh, hello, everyone. Hello and welcome. No matter where you're coming from, whether it's a chaotic place with all the hustle and bustle, or maybe it's just a quiet place that you have in serenity, welcome. This is the place to come to for peace, for a moment of talking about peace, holding conversation, and that's what we're all about here. You know me, I'm Mama Peace. So I'm all about that peace. And I'm delighted that in all the things that you could be doing with your time right now, you've chosen to come here to be with us and sit in a conversation with us. I would like for you to imagine for a moment, if you would, a world without conflict, a world where respect for diversity is the norm, a world where understanding replaces fear. I know that sounds like a dream, doesn't it? I love to dream, and that is the world I dream of. That's the world that we strive to build as we broadcast every week here at the Peapod and bringing in people to hold conscious conversations with is part of that. So each week we explore different themes. It could be anything from peace to practical tips for living our lives, from personal information to political. We don't really get political on here, but sometimes we do have people who are involved in bringing more peace to the politicians. We engage with thought leaders, with peace activists, with scholars, artists, everyday heroes, all of whom are united in a common purpose, the pursuit of peace. This is a place for stories, the stories that heal, the stories that bring us together, stories that remind us of our shared humanity. Siddhartha Gautama said, "Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without." And I love that because that's what I say every day. We have to go in and have that inner peace so we can think about having peace out in the world. Dr. Wayne Dyer said, "You have everything you need for complete peace and total happiness right now." And the Dalai Lama said, "World peace must develop from inner peace. Peace is not just mere absence of violence. Peace is, I think, the manifestation of human compassion." So let's dive right in. Let's talk about just what is going on in this world today and how can we maintain a balance in that as we live our lives, as we focus on self-care, self-love. And that's what my guest and I are going to talk about today. I would love to I'd love to introduce you to my guest, Pennie Ly, and I'm going to bring her on right now. Hello, dear Pennie. Thank you for
Hi,
being here.
Teri. Thank you so
Oh,
much for inviting me.
yes, indeed. I'm so happy to have you here. And what a delight to just sit in conversation with you because I've been around you for a little bit and I know that your energy is so warm and inviting and wonderful. And I consider you one of those everyday heroes that I mentioned. So I'm so
Oh,
glad. I'm so glad you agreed to come on and be with me. So we decided to talk about balance, and that's a biggie, isn't it?
yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So can you share how do you maintain balance when I look at you, every time I've seen you, I just get this warm feel that you are centered. So let's talk about how we do that. How do we get to that place of being centered and balanced?
To be balanced, simply be yourself. I mean, to me, that's what I think
Mhm.
it is. That is to to live, your life fully, authentically, to be yourself. Because, when we wanting to be someone else, there's always this holding breath and this judgment of us going, oh, did I did I be someone else? Like, for some celebrity that we look up for, and then we kind of dress like them, wear like, and talk like them. And then we also seek uh, validation outside instead of like, why do we want to be someone else when we are so unique and special in our own way that when you are in yourself, that you feel like you can finally, it's like
Yeah.
you can breathe. It's like that breath. Never underestimate this breath, because this is like, I'm home. Like what
Yes.
you were saying about Wayne Dyer, right? Everything is within you. Like all the world that we see outside, the cloud in the sky, the trees and everything, they're not outside. Everything is right here. The universe is within you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. The angels talked about that just a couple of nights ago, that it's all an inside job. And,
Yeah.
we physically with our eyes, we think that we're seeing all of this stuff, and it's really us just being reflected back to us, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. As a matter of fact, balance is about the awareness that is in the present moment. When you are in the present moment, for me, lately, what I've been seeing that I want to share is I have ringing in my ears, but you know, usually it's on my left ear, and for the past a couple months, it has been quite extreme, to a point that I'm like, maybe my tinnitus is acting up, that I have to go and see a doctor, right? To see what do they call
Right.
them? Those audio specialists.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, to check it out, right? And
Right.
sometimes my right ears, also ring. But the thing is, if I tune into the ringing, then it's like I see that the ringing on my left ear and the ringing of my right ear is two different realms.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's like
Yeah.
there is two different realms that I see it simultaneously happening. So all we have to
Yeah.
do is, as we are in the present moment, and be ourselves. That's how simple it is. Or simply when you are be yourself, that all your sensory started to activate it, and then you become more sensitive. And as I was talking to you right now, a crow just flew over, and it was like
Oh.
looking, peeking over. It's like, but simple things like this, it brings
Mhm.
me affirmation, confirmation.
Yes, exactly. There's all kinds of messages that we receive, the
Yeah.
different confirmations, and I love it. I I used to be really, really inquisitive and wanting that confirmation. Like, where is it? Am I going to see something? And I'd even ask, okay, God, show me my confirmation. And then I just got to a point where I didn't need that anymore. It was like the confirmations
Right?
on the inside.
Yeah.
But every so often we like to hear that ringing of the bell or finding a feather or whatever it
Yes.
is, right? That brings us that little
Yeah.
message. Yeah.
Yeah, even
But
talking about the feathers, I don't need to go outside to find the feathers. The
I
feathers will show up.
they
Yeah, because I
do.
have
Isn't
I have pillows and cushion, right? Sometimes I don't know how
Yeah.
it is. It just on the floor. It's like, whoa, a
Yeah.
feather. So
I know. Isn't that crazy? Now that you
yeah,
mentioned that, I'd love to share an
yeah,
experience that I
please.
had. So I call my car the Angel Mobile
Oh
because
wow, so cute.
I feel like the angels just kind of made it happen. They just like,
Yeah,
here you go, here's this vehicle. So on the dash of my car, I have kind of a little altar there. I have a
yeah.
little tiny Buddha, and I have the word love, and I have a white feather that I found when a semi rear-ended me. It was like
Oh my
it
goodness.
wasn't a bad thing. I mean,
Yeah,
he just
yeah,
kind of rolled into me, and
yeah.
Auntie Jean was in the car with me at the time. But
Oh
I
wow.
I had pulled over into the media when that happened,
Mm,
and I get out of the car, and it was a rainy day. It was really a lot of everything was wet. The road was wet, the grass was wet. I get out of the car, and there's this perfect white feather, dry, okay, no rain on it.
Wow.
It wasn't wet at all. And I bent down and I picked it up and looked at it, and I'm thinking, this is definitely a sign that Archangel Michael was protecting me from all of
Yeah.
what could have been like really bad, but it was like a nothing thing. And so that feather sits on my dashboard with this little altar
Wow.
that I have built. Well, there was one day, and this happened, oh, it was maybe 3 or 4 months ago now. The feather was up there, and I get
Yeah.
in my car. I'd been out doing something, got in my car, and I look over it, and in the passenger seat, there's a white feather. And I'm going, how did you get down there? Because I thought it was the feather from the dash, right? So
Yeah.
I pick it up and I go to put it on the dash, and the white feather is already on the dash. So somehow a white feather manifested itself in my seat of my car, because it was
Wow.
like, I hadn't been anywhere around where feathers would have, and I don't have the windows rolled down. So how could a feather
Yeah.
just like come into the car? So that happened, and I was like, okay, now you have a mate. So now I have two feathers on my dash.
That's so beautiful. As you were sharing that, I keep on getting goosebumps. That's like confirmation. Like I really
Yes.
felt that,
Yeah.
as if like I was there, as you
Right.
describing that I was like, watching it right, in
Yeah.
front of me. Yeah, this is the beauty of life. When you are
Yes.
living in the authentic of yourself, then you will see confirmation from the universe. I'll keep
Mm-hmm.
on bringing over and over. Just the
Yes.
other day, I was like, I hear about, I'm not sure, do you know who's Dolores Cannon?
Oh, I was just watching a video from her last night. Just last
Yes.
night. and you didn't
Wow.
and you didn't know that. So now I've got the chills.
That's a synchronicity, right? So,
It
um,
is.
for her, she worked with time, right? Because, the information
Mm-hmm.
that she received is just
Right.
paramount. And then, and there's always this divine timing for her to release it. So
Right.
now, as in my YouTube algorithm, she show up. And ever since then, because from what she was sharing is like 2024 is a very significant year, and
Mm-hmm.
which means that the time is right. So more information is releasing out about, the convoluted universe, and about all the finding that she has all these years, that her contribution to the world is just so paramount. And one of them was talking about being abundance, right? About the flow of money, because how we associate money with fear, that we are always not enough. But she said that the universe will send you signal. So a lot of her videos now that is shared by her disciples, or all the friends that become the therapist, the hypnotherapist,
Mm-hmm.
and her daughter is carrying on her legacy now. So they
Yes.
started to share a lot of videos about signs about you are in the realm, and so that it keep us going. And so just the other day I saw there was I'm in Canada, so we have toonie, $2, right? But it's in a coin form,
Right.
so we have a toonie. I'm like, wow. So what I did is I just take the toonie, I put it into a container, and then when I fill it out, then I will donate it, because you are abundance, and abundant mean that you are giving. You giving,
Right.
that money away. So I'm planning to donate that away. So I'm like, thank you so much. Thank you, universe, for
Yeah.
this toonie. And then the next day, I saw a loonie, which is $1. The same spot, but my daughter didn't come to my room, and it
Oh.
just
Yeah.
miraculously show up. And then again,
Yeah.
I'm like, thank you so much, being grateful, and then I put it into the coin. So this message coming through is not about, oh yeah, it keep on showing up, but rather is to remind you that you are so very loved, you are so abundantly abundant, that
Yes.
you just have to be yourself. That's it. That's how
That's it.
basic life
Yeah.
is, that you just be yourself, be your authentic self, and then you will see beauty in life, and then there will be miracle happen. And,
Yeah,
yeah, so
lots of tuning.
exactly.
Oh, oh, how beautiful. You were talking earlier about people that they like mimic others. They see
Yes.
something in them that they want to be, and so they start imitating that person.
Yeah.
And there's a word now for that. It's called the imposter syndrome. Where
Oh,
you're not being your true authentic self. You're being
yeah.
what you think that version of that person is that you can be. So I think
Right.
that's such a good point to bring out, to be your authentic self.
Yeah.
Be you. There's nobody else like you. You are unique. And
Exactly.
so the more we just delve into who am I, and
Yeah.
as I like to say, who was I before the world told me who to be? Because
Yeah.
we come in with this fresh newness. There is a blank slate, and then all of a sudden we're getting instructions from everywhere,
Mm.
right? We're getting
Yeah.
instructions and told, no, don't do that, or yes, do this, or come on, you can, or no, we don't want you to do that. And so we're told from the very beginning how to speak, how to act, how to be, how to walk, you know. But when we shed all limitations and all expectations, we find who we truly are. We find that beautiful being inside that is not an imposter, but that is our
Yes.
true self. And that's where our
Yeah.
power lies. That's our power right there, being
Yeah.
unique. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I want to share that. A couple weeks ago, I connected with she's actually also training under Dolores Cannon, and I was very curious about Dolores Cannon that I want to do a session, a her
Mhm.
hypnotherapy session, which is called the quantum healing QHHT. I
Right,
don't know the
right.
full name of it, but it's quantum healing techniques. So I'm gonna do that in March, because I really
Good.
is very curious about who am I, but
Mhm.
not about who am I in this lifetime, but rather who am I to the very core of this very
Yes.
soul that was created. Yeah.
Right.
So but I connect with one of the practitioner with her life coach
Mhm.
session, and she was sharing with me that each of us have about, I can't remember, 200 or 300 trillion of that. You can call it God or universe particle within
Mhm.
us, that power. Um, yeah, so you know, you just have to be your authentic self, and you know how powerful you are because you are connected to the source, which is universe.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
so beautiful. And then when you do delve in and you find all of this beauty that's inside of you, it's like, oh, why didn't I do this before? So there's that tendency to want more. That's what I've found.
yeah,
It's like I want to know more. I want to explore all of those different star places I've been, and yeah, it's such a
yeah.
beautiful, beautiful thing to do. Yeah, we have. One of our spiritual family members has taken the training, and he actually does the sessions as well. And
Oh, wow.
yeah,
That's profound. I would love to,
yeah.
hear more about it and be
Oh yeah,
curious about it
I'll
too.
introduce you definitely. And yeah, because I think it's a beautiful thing, and interesting that Dolores is coming up more and more these days. And
Yes,
what she
yeah.
taught us, she was a pioneer. Some
Right.
people still haven't heard of her. But
Yeah.
the thing was, when Dolores was so actively teaching and sharing of
Hmm.
her knowledge, we didn't have what we have now. We didn't
Yeah.
have the internet. We didn't have social media. It was just
Right.
her teaching. And she
Yeah.
was teaching and saying things that nobody had heard before. And so there
Yeah.
was a big gift that she brought to the world, and now it's being shared out everywhere on
Yeah.
social media, and through the internet and through her YouTube videos. That, thank God, they preserved those.
I know,
They,
right? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it could have been lost, but somebody had the foresight to record and to keep those recordings so that we could benefit from it.
Right. As a matter of fact, talking about all that video that is keep on coming out, and then the way that sometime when they were talking, because they're speaking English, even though they speak in a, kind of like a accent, right? But however, sometimes the way that they pronounce her name, so Dolores Cannon, or it can be Dolores Cannon and all that. I'm like, is this? That the ego mind kick in and it's
Right.
like, oh, is this like, robot, or, is it AI and all that? But
Yeah.
now that I think about it, no. I mean, now that I'm, have more time to explore about it, it comes up as those are the multi-dimensional beings speaking truth, like recording it through, so authentically them, that
Yeah.
this is their way of sharing to this realm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Somebody's asking a question. Is that person Tim? I don't know who Tim is. Um, and unfortunately, I'm not seeing the names of who's making these comments, but yeah, the person that I was referring to, his name is Jim. So that's very close. uh,
Wow. Tim
yeah.
and Jim, they
Yeah.
rhyme.
Yes, they do. So when you all are commenting or asking your questions, if you'll let me know who you are, I don't want to distract by going onto Facebook while I'm talking to Pennie, because we're having such a lovely conversation. I love this, and it's so interesting that it has gotten around to Dolores. And
Yeah.
like I said, I was watching a video of hers last night, and I even wrote about her in the nightly blog that I do. I write every
Wow.
night, and yeah, I think I quoted her or mentioned something about her. And so it's just the synchronicities. I keep saying you can't make this stuff up, you know.
I know. It just keep on coming up with that synchronicity, that
Yeah.
affirmation, as if like, more and more that we are living to the truth of ourselves, that,
Mhm.
you feel that you can
Right.
breathe.
The
Yeah.
Excel. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. There
Yeah.
was a movie. I don't think I've ever seen it, but it's called Waiting to Exhale. And I
Oh,
think a lot of times that's what we're doing. We're just waiting for that moment when we can
yeah.
exhale and not be caught up in angst and anxiety anymore. And that was
Right.
Auntie Jean, and she says she hit the wrong key. So she meant to ask if it was Jim. And she says, I love you, Pennie.
Oh, I love you too, Auntie Jean. Yeah.
uh, yeah, I don't
Thank
know why the
you.
names are not showing today. Sometimes it does that. It just depends on technology and if it's going to let me see who's commenting or just give me a general. But anyway, welcome to everybody who's tuning in and who's watching and listening in. If you have a question for us, um, we don't have an agenda. We were just talking before the show. I never have an agenda when I do the podcast. It's whatever happens, happens. And it's been such a
Yes.
beautiful flow of energy.
Yes.
Our topic is maintaining balance. And how do we do that? And what are some of the self care and self love things we can do? And, as we mentioned before, being authentic. I think that is like number one, to really know who you are and be who you are without trying to be a people pleaser or mimic somebody that you think has it going on, like
Yes.
that person's all
Yes.
together. Let me be like them. But it's better just to be yourself, because then
Yeah.
you're showing respect to you and to the
Yeah.
creator who made you. He made you just like you are. So don't try
Yeah.
to be somebody else, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what other things that we can think of? Let's just throw it out there. What other kind of self-love and self-care things can we do for ourselves to maintain balance in our life?
Going back to what we shared earlier about, when we want to be someone else, but when we first tune into, for instance, a star or celebrity that we saw, we see them, in a way that I want to be like them, that
Mhm.
glittering, that shining star.
Right.
But that also is a resonant, is also resonate because, we are like a tuning fork. So,
Mhm.
whatever that tune in can be, positive or negative, so it can be like really resonate to you that I want to, so much that you want to be this person. Or it's like so much trigger that come up, you're like, oh, I want to turn it away. But to simply see that every one of us are like a mirror, we are like a reflection. So
Mhm.
again, being yourself, only when you are be able to be yourself that you are in the middle, which is the wu way, the middle way, that you can crack
Right.
open the left and the right brain and to see things as they are in the present
Yeah.
moment, so you don't something that resonate. I have a resonant and a special aha moment with it, and once that moment is done, let it go away. And then the same thing as the trigger as well. Huh, perhaps there
Yeah.
is a lesson for me to learn in the
Mhm.
soul that I'm becoming, because constantly this is a learning progress, a work in progress, right?
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
always. Always.
yeah,
We will be until we're not here anymore. We're constantly
yeah,
learning and growing. And I always say if there's a limit that you've placed on yourself, if there's a belief that you're
yeah,
holding, examine it. Always be
yeah.
open to examine your beliefs and say, does that still work for me? Do I still resonate with that thought? And that's the way things are, or the way things have to be. And
Yeah,
just open up. And you mentioned the middle way, and I just love that teaching. I love
yeah,
it. Um, yeah, it's like letting go of all of that stuff that's there, that's constantly bombarding us. And we can tune in to a multitude of teachers that are going to share things with us, and and some it has to be this way, and if you don't follow this, then this will be disastrous. But when we put all of that noise aside and we go inside, that's when we find it. We find that middle way. We find
yes,
that way that works for all of us. And I
yeah,
think that is the way to peace, is all of us
yeah.
finding that.
Yeah, you're right, Terry, because like the
Yeah.
heart, your heart chakra is that middle way, is the bridge,
Hmm.
actually. It is the
Yeah.
bridge that is connecting this two realm together. The left,
Right.
realm, and then the right, or the two left
Yeah.
and right brain
Hmm.
together. That wu way that you are in the middle, and also is a bridge, and
Yeah.
also it is that shunyata. Shunyata is
Yeah.
pregnant emptiness in Buddhism. So
Oh,
is that
yeah.
when you connect to the heart space, to the spiritual heart, that you actually cannot feel it because it's a wide open space.
Right.
That's the
Right.
universe.
It
Yeah,
is. Yeah.
yeah. So it's pregnant emptiness in a sense that it is empty, but it's full.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to explain until you really experience it.
Yes.
And so,
Yeah.
yeah, I encourage anyone that's listening, maybe you haven't had that thought before about it. I have a meditation that I like to lead people through, and it's called Into the Void. And that's really what
Mm.
we're doing. We're going into the void where we don't have concrete things to hold on to, but it's just like, what am I going to experience here? What am I going, and just being open to it. What's going to
Yeah.
happen when I lose all thought of how something has to be, and that it has to be structured? It's losing structure. It's losing all of the things that we say we have to have, right?
Yeah,
In
exactly.
yeah, in this human life, we do have to have certain things to be able to
Right.
live here on the planet.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
in our spiritual heart, in our spiritual life, it's like none of this matters. None of
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's so
Yeah.
beautiful. And that's
Yeah.
why I always say love is really the only thing that matters. Because
That's right.
when all is said and done and we come to that end of our journey, none of this matters. We're not going to take any of this with us. The only thing we take
Exactly.
is what's in here, what's in our
Yeah.
heart. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
And yes, Serge says it's unconditional love. It's the Holy Spirit. It's agape love. Yes,
yes.
that's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. And for me is I love pink and purple because pink and purple is, they represent the unconditional love.
Hmm. Right.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Interesting because I made a little PR meme to put up about our show today, and I used a pink background where I normally use a
Oh,
blue. I normally have a blue black background when I'm advertising the Peapod, and
yeah.
just a thought came through that said, no, it's going to be pink. And yeah, I wasn't even thinking about Valentine's Day or anything like
Yeah.
that. It was just like, this is the energy that needs to come in. And it feels like Kuan Yin energy. Kuan Yin
Yeah.
is one of my guides. I just love her energy so much. She talks to me constantly, and she helps with energy healing and guidance. And every morning we have a morning show, and every morning we pull a Kuan Yin card because she always talks to us and it's always
Yeah.
relevant to whatever's happening, whatever's been said. She jumps right in there and talks as well. So
Wow.
that's what it felt like when I was doing that little picture for us. It was like, yeah, it's Kuan Yin's going to be here. She's going to be
Yeah.
in
Oh, that's
this
so beautiful.
conversation. Yeah,
Yeah. Actually, I want to share something with you about Guan Yin.
sure.
You know, Guan Yin is a bodhisattva that was so loved in Asia,
Yes,
not
yes.
just in China, but everywhere else, because, the love that she has is benevolent. So there's one of the statue that she has many thousand hands. So
Mm-hmm.
that statue, that figurine, it represent that she can, counter, acting with all life in life, but her posture remain very benevolent and
Mm-hmm.
calm and still. So this is a really good reminder to all being,
Yeah.
that as we are interacting to the world, that we remain untouched by all of this.
Yes.
And actually, Guan Yin, there is another name is called Guan Shi Yin Pusa. So, this is the Chinese name for Guan Yin.
Mm-hmm.
Guan mean using the eyes to see, observe. And Yin is it means a voice, sounds, music. So in a sense that you're listening. So Guan Shi Yin, Guan mean that you are observing, and then Shi means the world. So you are seeing all being. And then Yin is
Yes.
like listening. So that's why Guan Yin is constantly observing and the world, the universe,
Yeah.
and listening. So that's why she is like the closest to all the being, and we were able to connect with her.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when I gave birth to my firstborn, she's 18 now, and as I was, in labor, I I was chanting her mantra, which is "Om Mani Bet Me Home," and
Yes.
she showed up, and it gave me a smooth delivery, and so she was there in my life as well. So
Oh,
we love
beautiful.
her dearly. Her love is
Yes.
so benevolent that she will um she will not give up any soul, any being in the world. So
Right.
anyone who see her, she will connect with it, with them. Yeah, so that's
Yes.
how, like what Serge was saying, unconditional love. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he says she is like the wave. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's right.
absolutely. Yes,
Yeah.
I remember when I first interacted with her, and I wasn't really familiar with her. I was just learning, about the bodhisattvas and learning more of the openness of all those teachings. And she came to me, and it was just this beautiful energy that was placed in my heart. And when I do energy healing, I go through the chakras, and every time I come to some person's heart chakra, she's there. Always,
Mm.
every time, in every session that I do, she's there. She shows up powerfully.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and it's just such a warm feeling to have her
Right?
as a
Yes.
guide.
Yeah. Actually, there's a new saying in China that is more resonant now is say that, you want to be a human being who is warm-hearted.
Hmm.
Say you have to be a warm-hearted a human being. It's called 做一个有温度的人. So it means that, sometimes we were so caught in a realm of, a memory in the past that we've forgotten to walk a path. Like,
Yes.
can you be missing on your path?
Right.
In a sense,
Yes.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
because Judah Krishnamurti, do you know who's Judah Krishnamurti?
No, I
Uh,
don't.
so he's a non-dual teacher back in
Okay.
the early 1900s. Actually, I can't remember his name from Europe. I think it's Charles something. He, in through his clairvoyance, he see this the next teacher, the world teacher,
Hmm.
in India. So they all travel to India to find this empty vessel, which is Jiddu Krishnamurti. And when they found him, he was, walking by the beach, and he's literally like an empty vessel. So, and then they brought him and his brother to Europe and give him, Western education. And when he was around early 20, they say that, okay, you're ready. You're going to come out and then, be the next world society, the star of the society, that teaching about spirituality. But back in his time, it's like, the upper scale, right? So,
Hmm.
he came out and he say, the truth is a pathless land. And he dissolved the whole society.
Wow.
Yeah. And then from
Yeah.
there, he went on his rest of his life. He passed away in 1986, um, to talk about what is in the present moment and negating,
Hmm.
religion, negating guru and all that. He's like, the truth
Hmm.
is a pathless land. And he's like, it's an inward revolution. So you have to turn within,
Right.
like what you were saying. So I highly
Yes.
recommend you
Yeah.
to check him out. He's my
I
first
will.
teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when
Yeah.
I'm, when a student is ready, the teacher show up, and he show up in my
Exactly.
YouTube algorithm.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. I got chills when you said that. Yeah, it is
Yeah.
so true, that when we're ready, everything that we need is going to be there. We have everything we
Yes.
need inside of us. So it's just going to be brought out and brought more to our attention for us to see it
Yeah.
and to honor it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Another
I love
message that is coming through right now is that, sometimes we were so caught into modality to study and say, oh, I got to study Hinduism, Buddhism,
it. Hmm.
Christianity, about all this so that I can come to know. But the thing is, you are all equipped with it because
Yes,
you don't only live this lifetime, you know?
right,
And when the divine timing is right, that knowledge, that the Lord Canon was saying that, that the ancient knowledge that you have, that that through all the life is whatever you learn is never forgotten.
right.
The divine
Yeah.
timing will flow through. So all
Hmm.
you have to do just be yourself.
Back to that, right? I mean, that
Yes.
is the bottom line. Be authentic. Be who you
Yes.
are
Yeah.
authentically. And
Yeah.
you are a spark of the divine. Oh,
Yeah.
Tasha says, I'm waiting for my teacher. Tasha, just put it out there to the universe. One thing that I have come to realize and that I've been taught by my guides is when you have that burning desire in your heart, like you really passionately want someone to be there, that wisdom person that's going to share with you. Don't come from a place of lack. Don't think that you don't have it. What Pennie just said is so true. We all have all of it inside of us. So just say, I want to connect with that part of me that knows who I am and that knows who will be there to help guide me through this. So whenever you're trying to manifest something, don't come from a lack part of you or a lack mentality thinking that something's missing. Nothing is missing. There's nothing to be fixed. There's nothing to fill up. It's all right there inside of you. So
Yeah.
just ask the universe, show me. That's what I do. Show me, universe. Show me what it is that I need to know. And every day I ask the question, what would you have me do? What would you have me do today? And put it out there and watch what shows up, because miracles happen when you open up to them. So
That's
Tasha,
right.
I wish you all the best. And yes, it will come through in meditation, when you're quiet, when you're open, when you don't put a limit on anything. Like we were talking about earlier, going into that void where there's no structure and there's no have tos and no agendas, but just let it flow.
Yeah.
Pennie,
Tasha. Hi,
anything you want to
Tasha.
add to that?
Yes. Hi, Tasha. And also just want to add to you you already are. So all you have to do is
Yeah,
just relax. And when you are relaxed, your heart open, then you can connect. Like, the energy here is paramount. Like, I can feel that energy. All that
yeah.
love is here. So yeah, be yourself, Tasha.
Be
Love you.
yourself and know that we are all our own gurus. You
Yes,
know, we
that's
think we
right.
have to have that wise person that's going to teach us. It's
Yeah,
all in us. It's all in us.
yeah.
And when we learn, quote, learn something new, we're actually just remembering it. We're just
Yes.
remembering.
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting that you were saying about you are your own guru. So sometimes teacher come out, they give us a pointer, right?
Hmm.
So they are a pointer, but at the end of the day, you cannot be missing on your path, right? So sometimes we've forgotten to be on that. To Jiddu point is like the truth is a pathless land. So, but
Yeah,
is to remember who are you?
right.
When you know who you are, then you know that you cannot be known. You are that mysterious one.
Yes, yes. Just like the Tao says, God cannot be
Yes,
named. It's the nameless one.
yes,
And I
yes,
love
that's
that.
right. Yeah, the Tao Te Ching, the very first, verse is saying that the Tao that can be named is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. Naming it, you are restricting yourself.
Mhm.
But when you are
Yes.
letting go of it, then you see the mystery within it.
Yeah.
And darkness within darkness, you see the beauty in all things. Yeah.
Yes.
But in the dark, it is really dark, or the darkness is the light.
Yes. Oh, so beautiful. I have so loved this. This has been amazing. And I love all the interaction. Thank you, everyone who came in today for this
Thank
conversation
you.
and for your comments, your questions. We just love you so much.
Thank
We're
you.
all reflections of each other. And sit on the mountaintop, go inside and listen. Beautiful words, beautiful
Yes.
words. Yeah,
Yeah.
to just see yourself there. And I did a little saying last night with a picture of an eagle. And it's like, when you let go, how high can you soar? It's that letting go. It's saying, I'm not going to tether myself to anything right now. I'm just going to see what happens when I let go and see yourself way, way, way above
Yes.
anything that tries to tether you down and bring you down.
Yeah.
And hello, Gina. My friend Gina Marie Burrell is here. I'm so happy that you're here listening
Hi,
in.
Gina. And like you say, when you let go, the tap into that infinite, that limitless, you know, of
Yeah.
the possibility.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
And one of the friends was saying, sit on the mountain top, go inside and listen. It's true, because when you connect with nature, that's also the Tao. It is for you to go out to the nature and observing. And Fuxi, which is the person who found yin and yang, the diagram of the yin and the yang.
Mm-hmm.
But all he did, it was just observing the nature
Right.
of sun down, sunrise, and day and night and all that. That house he comes
Right.
up with the yin and the yang. Yeah,
Yeah.
seven
It's
thousand years ago.
beautiful. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. And we still relate to it. Yeah. The truth is immortal. It doesn't
yes,
change. The truth does not change. So
yeah,
that's a little test that you can do also. It's like, if something is your belief, if you're holding on to something and it's not changing, then look at that, because it's truth. So we
yeah,
can always see truth. And the other thought I had was, the way we talk to ourselves is so important, because
yes,
showing self-love and self-care, a big part of that is being your own cheerleader, telling
right,
yourself, you've got this, you can do this. You can be
yeah,
on that mountaintop. You can wade your way through any muck and mire and all those fires and challenges of life. So that's a biggie, I think, at least in my world, to really be your own cheerleader and celebrate all of your wins. A win for you is a win for me. When one of us has a really good thing that happens, it affects all of us, because the energy coming from us goes into the big soup of all that is. And so when we're celebrating, when we're happy, when we're joyous, when we're peaceful, that changes the vibration of the planet. So, yeah, so
oh, that's
beautiful.
so beautiful. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
sharing that. That's the very same thing about how Dolores Cannon's message is coming through now, because how media is using media, the social media, to exude all the negativity out there. But you know what? To change the world, we can use the same channel as well
Yeah.
to
Uh,
exude the possibility to the world.
let there be light.
Yes,
I
and
just noticed the sun was starting to go down, I think, and it was getting very dark. And I'm like, well, what's going on here?
and there you go. Let there be light, right? Yeah.
Let the light in. That's a big
And never
message. Yeah.
underestimate all this that you've done,
Yeah.
Terry.
Yeah.
All this podcast, all this connection. This is the very core of this connection. So never underestimate your contribution, because every contribution
Yeah.
counts. So thank you so much
Everyone
for your
does.
contribution. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, thank you. We all matter. That's
Yes.
the big part of it. We all matter.
Yes.
Penny, I used to say, what difference does it make if I'm happy or sad, if I'm crying or if I'm angry? It's just me, right? What difference does it
Yeah.
make? And then I learned that it does make a big difference, because
Yes.
each one of us is important. Each one
Yes.
of us, our energy goes out from us. It doesn't stay contained in this
Yes.
body, it goes out beyond us. And so it
Yeah.
does matter if we put a smile on our face. Our friend Marietta says a smile is spirit
Mm.
magnifies incredible loving energy. That's what a
Wow.
smile is. So when we're smiling, that is magnified out into the world. And
Yes.
you know what? It may be the only smile that someone sees today. I always
Yeah.
I always think of that as I'm
Yeah.
going out in among people, and I
Yeah.
look at faces and I read their energy, and I'm
Mhm.
thinking, I bet that person hasn't seen anybody smile at them today because they might look like they're depressed. They're feeling it, their energy's down. And you put that smile on your face, it might be what keeps that person going. Seriously.
Yeah.
They
And
may be at
also,
their end of their rope. Yeah.
yeah, and also your eyes, to look them in their eyes.
Yeah.
Tara, I always tell you, I love your eyes.
Oh,
You know,
thank
it's like
you.
so deep,
Thank
it's so
you.
deep, so vast that
Yeah.
your eyes is the universe. When I see you, when
Oh,
I look into your eyes, I see the
thank
universe
you.
in you. Yeah, and you're right, because as we are a mirror of each other. So every interaction, like they're not stranger. When we see
Right.
someone that we don't know, they're not
Yeah.
stranger. Try look them in their eyes and you will
Yes.
see. Like I thought I was like, reaching out to others, but oh boy. I'm receiving even more from
You
them. That
receive.
beautiful. Yes, yeah. So that's the unconditional love, because the unconditional love is like you just give without expecting anything back. And
Right.
when you are not expecting anything, that gift that coming back is like tenfold, hundredfold.
Absolutely. Because it gets expanded when two or more are in that
Yes,
same energy, it expands out even more
yeah,
exponentially. Oh,
yeah.
what a beautiful discussion with you today, Pennie. I just love it, and I know that
Thank you.
with those that have not encountered Pennie before, I know that you have fallen in love with her today because this was just a beautiful exchange of energy. So, Pennie, would you tell people how they can reach out to you, how and what you do? I know you have something going on YouTube, which we are
Yes.
broadcasting on right now. So, please share.
Yeah, so I share my life journey. So whatever that comes, I see that universe give me bite-sized learning. So whatever I learn, and then week after week, there's new learning coming. So as I am receiving all that learning, I share it through my channel. So I share my life journey through my channel called Life is Flow. And I also was part of the community. So we are part of the I Am community through Mighty Network. So, come and join us. It's free. And then we have some, events that happening like Qigong. So we have like Monday to Friday, we have yoga and Qigong that we combine together. And then we also, if, friends wanting to learn something, then we can embrace and learn it together, to explore together. So anything is welcome
Yeah.
and open. Yeah.
Absolutely. Gina Marie says she would love that link. So, Gina, I know it's called Mighty Networks. I'm also on
Yes.
there and I'm connected in with Pennie there. Is it network or networks? Mighty
The Mighty
Networks.
Network. So
Work.
there's a link that when they click on it, it will bring them to the I Am community, and then
Yeah.
from there they can join in. And it's relatively new. We just started last June, so we are all the new member are welcome in a space that no judgment and there's only love.
Only love.
Yes,
Yes. And on YouTube, your channel is called
life is flow.
Life
It's
is
flow. Yeah.
Flow on YouTube. So
Yes.
there you go. And I hope that you all will connect in with our beautiful Lady Pennie. And it has been an absolute pleasure to be with you
Thank
today and
you.
have this
Thank you
time
so much.
together. So much love to you, Pennie. And
Thank you
I
so
know we're
much.
going to be doing some more together.
Yes.
We're going to collaborate on some things. So
Yes.
you all just look out for this dynamic duo.
Thank
Uh,
you, Terry. Thank you
and
for your love.
thank you,
Thank you,
everyone who
friends.
came
Thank
in
you. Bye,
today.
Tasha.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
like I always say, stay in your heart. The heart is where you connect with who you truly are. And when you stay in your heart, you stay blessed. So just always go back there. If something's going on and it feels a little bit overwhelming, go back to the heart. And I'll see you next week on the Peapod. I have a beautiful sound healer that will be with me next week, Sharon Karn. And I have a feeling she's going to bring her bowls, and we're going to have some fun with sound energy. So next week at 5 o'clock Eastern Time. I'm on every week at this time, so check it out. And be blessed. We leave you with namaste, y'all.
Namaste, everyone. Love you.
Bye
Thank you,
now.
Teri.